Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero Psych, Defender of the Fatherland. We're off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on Lost Glider between the South. We got here 3 Invector, fighting for king and country, the Commonwealth, taking on the role here of the 51st Infantry Division, tasked with holding the line as the Germans under Ace here fights forwards. Charging ahead here with the Panzer Ace, I believe, is a rank 7 Wehrmacht player, or at least in the top 10 last I checked. Here with Jägerarmer, Mechanized Assault and Elite Troops with Triple Infantry versus Dreinwechsel's Advanced Emplacement, Special Weapons and Mobile Assault, Triple Infantry. I can already hear people booing and hissing somewhere across the world. Both players though with Triple Infantry, Grenadier MD42 there for Ace, Dreinwechsel going for double section into Vickers machine gun. He's pushing hard for the fuel point there, basically hoping to disrupt Ace's opening there by putting his fuel point under pressure with the infantry section as he moves over to secure zone there. And with the section of course being rather above the line there, fighting unit should be more than able and capable of pressuring Ace there, thusly messing up his opening, slowing it down and giving Dreinwechsel more time to do what he wants. We got the MD4 setting up here. That should be able to more than steadily put a bit of an end there to Dreinwechsel's raider tactics, pretending to be something out of the long-range desert group, except somewhere in Western Europe and with less spiffy hats. So there you go. Got the Tommies on the run there with some well-placed MD42 fire. Sandbags going down there. Know the way setting up that allows them to defend the point for the most part, but makes it really difficult for Dreinwechsel to utilize it against Ace if he were to counter from his, since there'd be very little to hide behind. So that's actually some pretty clever sandbagging there by Ace. MD42 securing territory there. More grenadiers on the way there for Ace and the Fatherland. Vickers machine gun there being towed ahead. A water-cooled World War I era machine gun. Rather heavy stuff that he's carrying around. The light is made out of bloody cardboard. Further fun fact is the British would actually use the machine gun, the Vickers, to bombard enemy position by sort of firing it from a certain angle. Good thing they didn't have that in game. Got the Vickers moving ahead, their pioneers firing down. Also a bit of barbed wire there just to further make sure his opponent never gets to use those sandbags. Up here, Grenadiers securing points, not moving further. We got more Grenadiers. In fact, we got triple Grenadiers out here for Ace, and there we go, Vickers setting up, but might just get here rushed by the pioneers with a bit of good luck and faith. Nope. Actually makes it. Bit lucky there for Ace, so it does lose one of his pioneers there. Jorgen stumbles so dead. We got 6 men up there, but under fire from the MD42, covering the eastern fields for Ace. Third Grenadier squad there with the third section line for Dreinwechsel. We got section moving up here in the west side. Neither player has yet to commit to a doctrine within the first few minutes of the game though. Neither in that regard either having a clear game plan, or either player waiting to see what the other bastard's up to. So those are basically sort of the two major theories, of course, sort of going on there. Section there versus Pioneers, MD42 moving down, grabbing the centre victory point, and up here, section dealing with the Grenadiers there. Not a good position there for Ace and his forces. We also got here early bolstering of Dreinwechsel. He's clearly aiming for sort of the aggressive play. I mean, again, we saw it there with the section there, but obviously bolstering up sections further emphasises aggressive infantry play there versus Ace, and could also indicate he might be planning here special weapons, since again that works really well with bolstered sections. Like tank hunter section can then be really difficult and nasty to deal with. Up here we got takeoff Ace and the Panzerdivision. Vickers machine gun crew moving towards the centre, but there'll be angry Germans with guns waiting for them. Section moving up with support, pushing forwards against Harry Han. Pioneer MD42 setting up the heavy switch way there. Very good fluid machine gun play there by Ace. Not waiting about there for his opponent to walk into it. He looks for targets to then have the machine gun fire out, but the problem is the Vickers is opening up the machine gun and he's doing a lot of nasty damage. Finding up north here, Grenadiers are dealing with a section a bit on his own, trying to run for the house here. Centrewards though, Ace might be forced to retreat here. His position's being slowly ground to fine dust here by the Vickers machine gun and its crew. Section bypassing Ace's forces, going straight for the cutoff point there to harass and deny Ace resources. So Ace in a bit of a sticky situation versus Dreinwechsel, who's causing quite a bit of grief there, out maneuvering and seizing as much territory as he can there. And there you go, wiped. Oh, almost wiped it. Just briefly there, my mind sort of went a bit further ahead than it should have. I'd like to make a nice company there for Ace. You could probably rush out some Panzer Grenadier here, maybe a 2-2. We might have something else on plan. Could also, of course, be a 250.5 track. Section taking mana loss there from the Grenadiers. John stumbles over quite dead, followed by Tommy into the next realm. And Ace basically deciding to return the favour here to Dreinbeckler by hitting his field point instead of trying to counter-take in here, possibly anticipating that Dreinbeckler was setting up to expect that. So rather than hitting where, you know, Dreinbeckler is going to be prepared, he instead switches to where he can easily make much bigger gains. It'll obviously take a bit of time, but it will cost him a lot less. Thusly, you know, following Rommel's old maxim there, you know, don't fight a fight you don't see anything to gain from, and, you know, he stands to gain a lot more from this because he doesn't have to fight very hard from it. Saps of the charging force there, of course, also boasted 5 Sten guns, 5 Brits ready to take on the Hun. But there you go, we got Pioneers with the flying rifle moving up there to assist, coming in there in a nice purifying fire, cleansing them of their tomminess through death. He does have to commit to a small scale assault here, but as you might be noting, it's not where the main effort lies here for Ace. It might even just be to tie down Dreinbeckler's forces here and prevent them from anything else. But we got Pioneers moving about here. Could maybe consider some telemines here and there in case his opponent does decide to rush out the AEC, which some British players are fond of, though Dreinbeckler has yet to commit in that direction. Panzer Grenadier out here for Ace, and the Panzerlehr Panzerdivision, hardened men who have seen much action on the western, the eastern, and possibly even a bit the Italian front. And there you go. Catching the section out in the open there. Bad spotting up close here. The Panzer Grenadiers will beat the section. That's on the great section. The Panzer Grenadiers will generally have the advantage. In this case, the section is getting a bit lucky, but ultimately their luck runs out versus good German infantry. And there you go, Tank Hunter section as anticipated. Ultimately, he follows where, you know, he gets the most benefit in terms of doctrinal synergies, and after the Tank Hunter's infantry section benefits a lot from both such sections as well. We also got some artillery set up here with the pyrotechnic supplies for Dreinbeckler. Up here we got the Grenadier out for Ace. Forces reinforcing healing. Actually, no healing. There's no medic bunkers here for Ace. At least any healing is going to have to be from field first aid kits. Tank Hunters moving up there. Medical kits ready for them. Boys anti-tank rifles, which I'm reasonably sure they would not have utilised in Europe because the Boys anti-tank rifle was, all in all, a not very good anti-tank rifle. I mean, overall by 1944-45, most people would not have used them at all. The only ones that probably used to the extent were the rations because they had so many troops and needed to equip them with something. In most cases, I even think they only used them for clearing up bunkers and the likes. MD4 coming up, they got the Grenadier for firing away. No further take up there for Ace. His Panzer Grenadiers and Grenadiers still standing ready for the next big push against the Tommies. Point here now open to being taken back. We got the Vickers setting up there, fighting around the centre. And there you go, mortar fire quickly snuffs out the lives of 2 British infantrymen. And there you go, Grenadiers encountering the Vickers machine gun. You can move down there, mortar it, rush it with some infantry, flush it out. Bunker up there for Ace, so that's going to be a medic bunker then. So what will Ace do now? What will Ace do now? In the meanwhile though, Dreinbeckler following up here on the initial successes, victories. Having dashed those Huns apart here, he quickly moves on for the armour, which Ace is certainly not going to be moving for straight away. We'll have to see here though what Ace ends up doing here versus Dreinbeckler. MD holding up there. Medic bunker being done. He might want to, of course, tick up himself. Consider that. Panzer Grenadier moving down there. Vickers constantly a bit unsure what it wants to set up. And we got set up here for a big, larger scale assault here from the northwest. But the MD42 should be able to do this. Dreinbeckler is lacking in grenades. Oh, yeah. I was about to say artillery support, but he does have the pyrotechnic supplies, which does open up for the 25-pounder gun, which technically is artillery. And he goes for another Tank Hunter section first. I mean, he's sometime off from armor, so he just commits to sort of deal with any light vehicles or armor as a permanent push out, but just going for a lot of Tank Hunter sections, which in-game can sort of reasonably well, if you got a couple of them, deal with any armor. We got a flanking going in here, by the way. Panzer moving in. Once more in this case, too close for the Vickers to quickly suppress them, pushing them away there with some well-aimed assault rifle fire. The Sturmgewehr 44, which was in development for many years. Partly hidden from the Führer because initially he was not very keen on it, having been an infantryman in World War I himself, and thusly rather fond of bolt-action rifles. He would later, once demonstrated in 1944, come around to the whole idea of an assault rifle. Mines up here, by the way, to that way protect against any sort of northern maneuvers by Ace. Panzer Grenadier there fighting a tough fight there. Too many Tommies though, collapsing his move here. We got section moving up, they're taking fire from the mortar though. The Granatenwerfer lands a life-threatening blow, and we got the Pioneers as well, the MG42 shifting about. More Panzer Grenadier here for Ace, no take up, but certainly again there's an opponent who does go for a lot of sections. Panzer Grenadiers well handled, can prove quite efficient. In particular, once they get some veterancy, they can really do some grievous harm to the British. Grenadiers standing about here, section going straight for the fuel point. Second Panzer Grenadier squad setting out their troops and reinforcing, finally take up there for Ace. Ace though has yet to commit to a doctrine, perhaps not sure again what direction he wants to go here. Jaeger armor though seems like the least likely. Most likely will probably lead troops into Dutch and give him some option there for his infantry further. Cheaper grenades, stormtroopers call in, Panzer Tactician, and that Saloon's mechanized assault there's a middle ground. I mean, as opposed to be completely desperately calling the Sturi. Assault grenadiers could also be helpful actually here, and as opposed to there's down the road a Tiger tank there for him. So we'll have to see what it ends up with Ace. But there you go, Dreinmeckler pushing hard, digging in also very aggressively. In the meanwhile, Grenadiers sneaking about here behind Dreinmeckler's lines. But some nasty successful assaults there, but Dreinmeckler pushes back Ace. Trenches being dug now. That's further going to put some pressure on Ace and the Panzerlehr. Sappers charging into the light machine gun wielding Grenadiers. The assault unsurprisingly fares poorly. Hitting the cutoff point there, cutting off all of the western resources. That's only a method to buy time there for Ace, but he needs to get back his own cutoff point to somehow get the fuel point there. You can see that Dreinmeckler's done well to dug in there with sandbags, trenches. I mean, Ace has the tools to clear it up, but still going to require some effort there, some flanks, some maneuvers, flamethrowers, smoke screens and whatnot, so that efficiently do it, and for that matter do it fast. Panzers there ready to deal with any Tommies flanking in. Going for the fuel there, he could rush up into the heavy cover, deal with them much more efficiently. Attack here from the front with the MG42, Panzers there flashing out the trench. That should leave the section then a bit of trouble there, going up into the heavy cover with no grenades here for Dreinmeckler. He has no way of actively denying the cover to Ace, and the German infantry there go. Panzer Squad number 2 flanking the section there, sending it scurrying away. Minor progress here with some Grenadiers, but overall we can see here Dreinmeckler is quick to commit more forces to maintain his control of the cutoff point against Ace. Ace though is resolved not to give it up this time around. In the meanwhile though, he needs to bring up the Supremo Corps and get out some Stugs fast. He might be forced to go for a Pack 41st because Dreinmeckler can soon bring up a Cromwell. He could in theory just rush out a Centaur right now, which would be even more devastating since it's even better versus infantry. But I'm guessing Dreinmeckler's just going to go for the Cromwell because there's a part of him which is clearly worried about enemy armor. He doesn't seem to have a good grasp of fuel, I think. Otherwise he'd not commit to make anti-tank guns, double tank hunter sections and all that if he wasn't, really worried about Ace rushing out with armor. But fuel-wise, Ace isn't quite in such a good position. He could consider fuel cache though to help him with that. Mine goes off there, Ludwig, Dieter, blown to bits. Tank and a section there creeping up on the eastern fuel point. Got Panzers there hiding a bit as well there. Other squad falling back, hitting the fuel there. Digging with sandbags. Pioneer still standing about there. Almost is lost in a trance before the Supremo Corps. Overawed by German architecture on the field. So right now, Dreinmeckler keeps up the pressure there versus Ace. Ace is really should at this point consider some kind of doctrine, I think, to somehow push some kind of idea against Dreinmeckler. Trench being dug again here. Dreinmeckler certainly is fond of those trenches. At the same time, we got more forces committed there to defend the fuel point further, making things difficult here for Ace. And there we go, pushed back here by the Vickers machine gun, Veteran 2. And Sappers pushed back here. Tank Hunters holding up things. The Grenadiers being pushed back by a large lump of British infantry moving forwards. So Supremo Corps still some time off there for Ace. Flamethrowers going to need to deal with the advancing British infantry, forcing their way there, preventing them from getting too close. Rolling up there, taking fires. They do. And up here, Vickers versus MD42 mortar fire nearby. And there go, forcing it away, but nonetheless has lost precious fuel here versus Drymekla, who is now going for the crumble. Panzer was there saving the Grenadiers in the east, flashing away the Tommies and opening up a fresh route for the fuel. And we got here a half track on the way for Drymekla, opening up for Vickers K's. And of course also just frontline support for his troops, so that is what he desires. But I imagine he'll just use it to give Vickers K's out to his troops and maybe for Piet. But there you go, Vickers K light machine going down, hitting the fuel point here and there. Ace making use of any lull in the fighting to just quickly push forwards the front and secure as much as possible. Which was certainly also part of German doctrine. It was very opportunistic in many ways, always looking for a chance to break through and catch opponent off guard. Which is also one of the reasons, you know, they were in many cases surprised by how the Americans, for example, throughout, you know, Normandy were so passive in many cases. They'd just be like, you know, we got nothing there, why aren't they pushing through? So there were some larger differences there in doctrine between the two armies. Fuel points there being secured. We got the half-tank crumbling up here for Drymekla and the 51st Infantry. Ace can now go for the Stug 3G, and he should probably consider he does have a Pack 40 now ready as well. The Panzer Abwehrkanone 40. Will he go for the Stug? Will he actually try and stay up for a Panzer 4 here? Aiming up for something with a bit more flexibility. Or does he want to really just lock down the British Cromwell as fast as humanly possible? We'll have to see what it ends up with here for Ace. Light machine gun wielding Tommies advancing their panzers is coming from the church, laying down murderous fire in the east. Now the advanced here tank on the section into the MD42. That's assault is going to be stalled pretty hard in the west there. Grenadiers about to get wiped out here by a large British force supported by the half track. Holy snot biscuits! He actually got away with that. That was pretty lucky for Ace. His Grenadiers did not get annihilated. Meanwhile, Vickers pushing forwards here. He's just looking for any sort of opportunity to flank through and hit Ace from unexpected angles, and he's succeeding very much so. Point blank firing with the Vickers at the mortar. Quite unpleasant there for Ace. Looks like he is aiming for the Panzer IV here. It's either that or he's gone mad and he's trying to stay up for the Tiger now. Which certainly would not help him out one bit. Because that's going to be too long, and meanwhile Drymekla can bring up more medium armour. You can go for the Panzer IV now, you could go for the Stug. But again, he would have gone for the Stug, he'd be going for it now. So I'm guessing it's the Panzer IV, and there you go. Panzer Kampfwagen on the way there for the Panzerlehr Panzer Division. Panzer Grenadier there advancing, halfway to fetching 3. Ever the threat there to Drymekla. Though the Vickers K wielding section is also quite a threat to the Panzer Grenadier. Bomb grenade though there makes quite the impression as it decompresses the internal organs of several infantrymen. One for bring up support there, he's preparing for a bigger push there. And at the same time, he's even looking at the Pack 40. He's making ready for a big push into the west. He's going to try and hit the fuel point, hoping that draws away his opponent from his own fuel point. Panzer IV almost down there for Ace. The Panzer Kampfwagen 4 is gefechtsbereit. Setting ahead there, and there you go. Tank section there being caught, laying down sandbags. And we got grenades up now here for Drymekla. We got grenades. Mold bombs have been handed out. Meanwhile, more pressure here, but overall not the most decent assault there really. Easily allows the Panzer squad to stall up a large-scale assault. Pack 40 setting up, their Crom's going to move straight into it. And there you go, Pack 40 shoots penetrating the side armour here of the Cromwell tank. We got the Panzer moving up here, reaching through, crossing mausoleums beneath its treads. Crom being pushed back here, Panzer is being suppressed by the Vickers. Things are certainly heating up now that Ace has brought up some armour, some panzers. Rolling ahead there mercilessly, but there you go. 6-pounder gun fires and penetrates the 80mm of non-sloped armour of the Panzer IV. Vickers setting up there, Pack 40 moving ahead. They're going to try and catch that Cromwell. He's going to mount on that Vickers as well. There we go, gets a kill. Johnny stumbles over, no longer able to man the machine gun. Sapper's hitting the point there, Panzer IV down to half health. And Cromwell sets out there, also at half health, but clearly less concerned about that. But Ace nonetheless maintains map control here versus Drymekla. He is yet to choose a doctrine though. He has yet to choose or commit to anything. He's now though hitting his opponent's calf from there. There's not really much to cut him off from. So that has less of an actual practical effect.
The enemy cut our supply line.
Half-track supporting here as well. Getting the common in there for repairs. Far around the cutoff point. Tank hunters there popping off a Mills bomb against the Grenadiers. Easily dodged here by Ace. Hardened Grenadiers, and they quickly send those section members running away. Fleeing. In the west there, Drymekler committing to a smaller scale assault to try and drive away Ace here from the fuel. We'll have to see how that works out. And dealing with the trench here just in case. Well, while he can, I mean, might as well. Doesn't play the repairs of the Panzer IV. And pretty much a nice Drymekler any opportunity to rush through his lines and hit the trench, and that way cause him quite some grief behind his lines. Quick grenade there. Ooh, that did not do anything at all. That was a waste of munitions behind for Drymekler. We got the MD4 to the nicely positioned in the church, delivering a fat Teutonic sermon of the 1200 rounds per minute kind. And there we go. Panzer IV charging force that section that's pinned down before the church. And section almost wiped out. We got a Vickers K that dropped as well. Vickers K dropped. That's pretty big there for Ace. Meanwhile, the East Cromwell moving ahead. They're going to about to get wiped out. We got the Pack 40 covering there. Ace yet to make for Doctor, and the Grenadiers wiped out by the Cromwell tank. Half-tech supporting the anti-tank. But needs to be careful. Pioneers forced away, dropping the flamethrower, but still carrying the Vickers K. Sappers pushed back here by Panzer Grenadier, closing in on Veteran T3. And what is Drymekler planning next? Will it be tank hunt? Oh, not tank hunter. Will it be another Cromwell? Will he be setting up for a crocodile? What will his plan be? But overall, it is now Ace's time to control the fuel points here, and thusly have a fuel lead. He still hasn't gone for Doctrine. In theory, he could consider now pushing for a Tiger. It still would be risky, and he might want to consider fuel cache supported, but it wouldn't be a completely bad idea now. Then the machine gun punches there, gaining veteran feet, gaining a flamethrower as well there, Flammenwerfer. Got the Panzer IV rolling ahead. There we go. Need to be careful of those Panzers with the waste. There we go. Mortars almost got the section wiped, committing Drymekler there to a full retreat, lest he fancies losing them, since they would be pretty hard to replace. Panzer IV bombarding from the top here. Half track, halfway to Victory 2 with the Cromwell there, halfway to death. Back here, healing reinforcement, no sign of additional armor. It seems like Ace is very much committing himself to the Tiger tank.
Damned enemies trying to take a point from us.
Well, that or the Tiger Ace. Either well utilised, though, could provide him with the driving force to put Drymekler 3 feet under. And there we go, you finally got Doctrine. It is Mechanized Assault there for Ace, which means he's only going to use it for the Tiger, which is a shame. I mean, he could have benefited from his assault ideas earlier on in the match, but they're too late for that now. Grenadiers, they're taking quite a loss there from the Cromwell, half a unit gone in the blink of an eye. And the south here, Panzer Grenadier versus Sappers. Quickly turn them down, there you go. Veteran 2 Panzers versus Veteran 2 Sappers. With Minesweepers, the Panzer Grenadier here should have the overall upper hand. And there you go, gaining Veteran 3, certainly solidifying any defeat the Sappers would have faced. And there you go, Panzer IV charging forward, pushing back the Sappers, defending the fuel point for the fatherland. These Panzers don't need to retreat now, as we got the Veteran 3 section with... Oh dear, that's going to be a wipe then. This can get the Panzer IV down there to maybe draw fire. Or he just gets lucky. But I'm thinking Drymekler seems to be setting up for Crocodile himself. That's not going to work out too well there comparatively, because he's going to get out the Tiger sooner. He should retreat those Panzer Grenadiers. They are way too low on health. Way too low. Got the Pioneers there, including the Vickers K there, and a Flamethrower, heavily equipped to deal with any threat. Terramine's going down there to limit the movement range of Drymekler, at least safe movement range. Tiger tank very much within range, so Drymekler's going to have to go for a Firefly to counter that. Or a lot more anti-tank guns. Drymekler is moments away there from the Tiger. Rifle grenade alongside light machine gun fire against the section air defense and secures the fuel point there with pioneers moving towards here. They grab the western fuel point for the fatherland. Ace getting ever closer there steadily. He's got the manpower, he's almost got the fuel. And I'm guessing Dreinmeckler is kind of where there's going to be something big coming. Though of course there's also another issue. He's actually suffering large manpower bleed because he's got so many sections but they're sort of constantly dying off there, so he can't actually spend, you know, fuel easily for any sort of medium tanks anyways. I mean, that's kind of the issue there when you got 5 sections driven tank hunter sections and 2 sapper sections, all bolstered. That is some heavy manpower bleed that's going on there for Dreinmeckler. And the Tiger tank is going to make things pretty painful there for Dreinmeckler. There you go, Tiger arrives here, the Tiger 1 with its 88mm gun.
Supplies looking a bit squiffy. Line's been cut.
Fun fact about the Tiger tank and the Panther 4, the Panther 4 have upgraded with Schutzen, was actually very commonly mistaken by Allied infantry for a Tiger tank. Since then they sort of got a bit the sort of same bulky profile. So in that regard, the Western Allies reported a lot more Tigers knocked out for some in Normandy than there actually were Tiger tanks, because it would bite off any Panther 4's Tiger tank. Panzers there, the Watt cut it off at the same time, pushing forward with the Tiger and the Panther 4 here, demolishing Dreinmeckler's forces, going straight for the 6-pounder gun, the biggest threat there to his armour. If you can get that, there's not a lot left there for him besides the tank hunters, and they're going to be of limited use there. There's the Tiger tank. Chrome moves out, we got the Pack 4 spawn, we got Pioneer supporting, Panther 4 blasting away, Tiger unleashing hell, trying to crush the British infantry. The German giant in the making with an 88mm gun, powering through the Dreinmeckler's forces, turning whatever advantage Dreinmeckler might have had into nothing but pulp, a very fine bloody pulp. And now the Crom there's in a sticky situation. We've got the Panther 4, the Tiger striking away there, Panther 4 getting close to it too, and there you go, Cromwell is knocked out, burning. Oh, got the half-track as well, gaining the Schutzen there for the Panther 4, leaving Ace now with a superior armoured force, with superior crews. Also, one fun fact about German and British tank crews, they had one thing in common. None of them used crash helmets, meaning they were more likely to suffer damages because they bashed their heads into the side of the tank if they got hit or anything.
The capture point is being overrun.
So that's a little fun side note there. Quick rifle grenade. Fixing up the Tiger there, and we got a 250 half-track out though. We got a mechanized assault group out here for Ace.
We're losing a capture point.
Germany. Oh, there we got section there getting blasted to bits with the Tiger and other nasty bits. Panzer going to be there dealing with the tank hunters up close, or section members up close. Grenade off, but not enough. Not enough against the Panzerlehr Panzerdivision. Look at this, Otto, they're running. Yeah, I can see that, Friedrich, because I'm shooting at them with my Maschinengewehr. Dreinmeckler's planning there for the Crocodile didn't work out well, but again, he probably could have gone for some other things had he, you know, just not committed to so many tank under sections and other sections. Firefly on the way there for Dreinmeckler, but his chances of victory are rather slim at this stage. The Germans are all over the field with armour, half-tacks, Panzer Grenadiers, light machine guns, assault rifles, you name it. They are in control of the field. Achtung. Firefly, there you go. GG, game over. Dreinmeckler leaves the match. 51st forced to fall back here in the face of the Panzerlehr's armoured onslaught. A victory for Ace there. Didn't look good in the start there. Dreinmeckler was able to execute his infantry assaults quite efficiently, whereas Ace struggled a bit there to contain, but was slowly able to turn around there. As Dreinmeckler committed heavily to just preparing for armour when there really wasn't a need for it. And I think there might have been a mistake there by Dreinmeckler, allowing Ace to bring up more into infantry by time, and that way slowly push back against Dreinmeckler, gaining more ground. But also Ace's ability to just, you know, keep hitting the same spot, but, you know, flexibly switching positions, that way push through there. alters a lot there for Ace and my lad to sort of gain better ground. He could have benefited, I think, sooner from a doctrine. I mean, early mechanized assault with some assault companies, I think, would actually be quite efficient there versus Giant Mechler, but that's just my opinion. But overall, he pulled through there in the end with some good maneuvers, some good tactics. Giant Mechler certainly also made a lot of good moves, but ultimately couldn't quite, maintain it long term. The problem was, again, he committed for too much infantry with both sections, which caused a massive manpower drain in reinforcements. Ultimately preventing from getting out more armor. Lack of fuel caches, I think, didn't help Giant Mechler out there either. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, and comment on it. And of course, a big thanks to my Patreon supporters, without which this episode would not have been possible. Big thanks to all of you. You're all wonderful, charming, and very handsome people. And of course, if you'd like to support me, links in the video description. You can support me via Patreon as well, or you could just leave a single donation via PayPal. Either would make me quite happy and would certainly bring you eternal glory in the afterlife, in Valhalla, or wherever it is you might like. If you want to send a replay of your own, links are also in the video description. I can send the replay there. Do provide details as to where on the leaderboards. This is Imperial Dancing. Cheers, thank you all, and see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye.